The North Shore Line in 1945. America is winning the war over Japan, and this is a busy railroad indeed. Commuters, war workers, people are thronging to the interurban as never before. So it's a good time to take a look at the Chicago, North Shore, and Milwaukee, and its famous high-speed operation between Chicago and Milwaukee. The best way is to ride the North Shore. Our first run is on the commuter-heavy shoreline route, and we're leaving from Chicago's Loop. Those are wooden elevated cars on the right. The North Shore leaves town on the main line elevated. These maps will show you the route we'll be following. And our train goes down the middle of Linden Avenue, the first bit of street running. Some of the track modernized just before the war. That's the Chicago and Northwestern commuter line along at the left. the Highwood Shops, nerve center for the North Shore line. The shops have been working overtime during the war, making certain that the equipment is in tip-top shape. Trains are often coupled and uncoupled here. Fewer cars are needed north of Highwood. Sheridan. Soldiers from here and sailors from the nearby Great Lakes Naval Training Station make up a large share of the North Shore's business. At Lake Bluff is the transfer for Libertyville and Mundelein, the North Shore's one interurban branch line. Chicago Junction. Trains come and go here every few minutes. The cars to the right are headed for downtown Waukegan. An electroliner stops and loads passengers for Milwaukee and other major towns. The North Shore's two streamlined trains were put into service just before the war began. This is downtown Waukegan. Local trains terminate here, and there are local streetcars and buses operated by the North Shore Line as well. Old-fashioned white bus meets the trains. And here's a lightweight city car. North Chicago Junction, we see a city car departing for downtown Waukegan. It serves the Naval Training Station. Now it's time to take a fast run up the Skokie Valley. We're leaving Howard Street, main transfer point between elevated trains and interurbans at the Chicago city limits. Dempster Street, destined to become the north end of rail transit service after the final abandonment of the North Shore Line in 1962. And this is Skokie Junction. The double tracks to the left lead to the Mundelein branch, but we're taking the other tracks to North Chicago Junction and on to Milwaukee. After this stop at Edison Court, we're in for some fast running. We're going a mile a minute. Kenosha is an important stop and the first city in Wisconsin. The southbound electroliner streaks past us, headed for Chicago. Racine is another important Wisconsin city. The Milwaukee Electric has a rival interurban line to Racine and Kenosha. The outskirts of Milwaukee are coming up. Soon we'll be in a maze of street and railroad crossings. At Harrison Street, our train begins street running. That's a single truck burning. The North Shore's local service in Milwaukee is quite a contrast to the heavy interurban trains. The Bernie runs on the same track to give local commuters a ride downtown. We're approaching downtown Milwaukee. Here's the Milwaukee terminal with an electroliner pulling in. Final trip on the North Shore line today will take us out the Skokie Valley line, making all the stops before we take the Mundelein branch. Once again, our starting point is busy Howard Street. Spanish-style stations along the Skokie Valley route add an elegant touch to the North Shore line. Now we're turning west to Libertyville and Mundelein. From here on, it's single track to the end of the line. Here's Mundelein, end of the branch. There's both through service to Chicago and shuttle service to the Great Lakes Naval Station from here. Let's look at the other side of the busy North Shore, freight service. This steeple cab electric locomotive hauls a freight train at North Chicago. Of the North Shore would be complete without a look at how the interurban fights winter weather to keep the service running. Can be fierce, with wind-driven snow off of Lake Michigan. In all kinds of weather, the North Shore line moves the masses. It's a hard-working interurban, important to the people of northern